Hey, it's Allyson Steinberg, your host, and I'm here just to welcome you to Estheticians in Business, the podcast.
Hey, everybody. I'm so excited you're here to the third podcast of Estheticians in Business, the podcast. And this episode is actually really kind of important to me because I'm going to be talking about no-shows, cancellation policies, kind of how to handle them as a solo esthetician or really anybody in the beauty industry, because it can be super frustrating. But you're actually watching this podcast on YouTube. Would you excuse my outfit? I really do try to put myself together usually for these podcasts, but my daughter's been sick and so she's better now, but I went to the gym and I was like, I'm going to either go and take a shower while she's taking a nap or I'm going to record this podcast. So you guys, if you're looking, I'm showing you her little monitor. She is sleeping and I did not bathe. So I will take a shower after this. But I am telling you this because one of the reasons is because I feel like we always want to show up as like our best, but sometimes showing up is better than showing up like quote unquote our best, because right now this is my best, right? And so I just want to share that bit with you before we get into cancellation policies and no-shows, knowing that this is what I look like. Hello. And that I love you and thank you for being here, because just showing up is better than not showing up. So here I am showing up for you. But I definitely am excited to talk about this because cancellations and no-shows are kind of like near and dear to my heart because I've handled them differently over the course of the years of being an entrepreneur, being a solo esthetician. And I think that the thing that comes with no-shows or cancellations is the idea of one, experience in the industry, just also as a business owner. But two, I do believe that when you handle a cancellation or no-show one way or the other, it kind of shows where your values are. It shows where your boundaries, your policies are. And I want to go over that with you today. So now don't hop off if you're like, I already have my policy set up. Listen to what I got to say so you can really understand like what I am talking about when it comes down to this idea or this kind of topic. It was actually funny because when I was writing notes for this episode, I was just like, I don't even know. I feel like I'm just going to let this go and kind of just talk to you about it, because sometimes it's hard to really put like, this is what you're supposed to do for cancellations. This is what you're supposed to do for no-shows or reschedules. Like, this is what you have to do. But in reality, it all comes down to your personal values, your wants, your business, your everything. So we're going to talk about that. So let's first talk about a no-show and what that looks like. So if you're an esthetician and you're just like, you know what, I am so excited to have all these clients, and then my client just straight up no-shows, meaning like they did not show up. Okay. They did not call. They did not cancel. They didn't reschedule. They just did not show up. And you are so frustrated and you're just like, oh my gosh. So when that used to happen to me, I used to be livid. I'm talking livid. I would have no-shows and I would be so upset because I'm like, you have wasted my time. And those no-shows or those cancellations always happen when you took a client outside of your business hours at like 8 a.m. and you showed up at 7 a.m. getting ready. You got up earlier, you skipped your gym class, you did this, and they no-showed you at last minute, said, hey, I'm so sorry, I can't make it. That used to make me make my skin crawl. Like if there was an ick, that was an ick. I used to lose it. And I'd be so upset. Of course I didn't lose on the client, but like my husband got it, right? Like he got it. And I would be so upset. So I want to talk to you about really how to handle that appropriately, especially if you're a new esthetician. There's definitely some ways you can handle it. So first off, if you have a no-show or a last minute cancellation, I kind of equate those to the same thing because you've given me no time to rebook this appointment. I kind of count it as like the same thing. Like, hey, if it's less than 24 hours, like we got issues, right? So this is how you can handle it. One, have a policy set in place for that cancellation, meaning you say like in this cancellation policy, you can go as detailed as you want or keep as easy as you want. I always recommend going as easy as simple as you can so that you have kind of wiggle room for situation per situation. But basically you can always say something like, to not get a fee or to not have a service loss or to not, be banned, need to reschedule within this time frame. If no show happens or you do not do this, we have the right to blank. Charge your card, do whatever, and you always have people sign their cancellation. You can always do something like that, and then you can always put in there something like, per the emergency issues or whatever it is. Like you can put in that like there can be stipulations that would cause this to be different. Okay. And I want to share a few things with the cancellation. So I've definitely had clients where they have no-showed me due to an emergency that was an actual emergency. And then I've had clients who have no-showed me due to telling me it was an emergency and I find out that it wasn't an emergency. And this is what I do. This is what I did. If you no-show me / cancel with me last minute and you're a brand new client, never seen you before, I'm going to charge your card. If your card goes through, I'm going to use that. It's a full price service or like 90%, 75%, depending on what your state says you can do. I'm going to use that as a credit. So the next time you come in within a time frame, you're able to use that amount on your next service. So say your service is $100 and you charge 75% of the service fee. What you're going to do is you're going to tell them, hey, I'm going to charge you the $75. And when that goes through, you can use that as a credit for the next time you come in if you use it within the next 2 months. I always do that because I want them to come in, but I also want them to know that I have a backbone. Now, if their card does not go through, they are automatically banned, meaning that probably happened because one, they put a crap card on file, or two, they lied to you and they just didn't have the money and they lied to you about it. So I always do that. Like you straight up, like if you don't show up, I'm going to use it as a credit for next time. Now, if they're honest and they tell you, okay. Now you can definitely do this if this is a client that you've seen a lot and they no-show you, they last minute cancel with you and you're just like, oh my gosh, you can always say like, hey, I'm going to charge you, but you can use this as a credit. You can do the same thing in that aspect too. It's always like the first offense really. Okay. Now on a second offense, if this happens, and obviously at this point, second offense, they're kind of a routine client, I will do the same thing, but I'm not going to give it as a credit. I'm just going to charge you. So if you are a second time no showing me or / canceling or whatever, I'm not going to allow that to happen again. So I'm going to charge your card the amount that I said I would, and then I will not have it as a credit. Like this is, you spent the time, you wasted my time. Now you guys have to remember this is per state. That's just what my state allowed me to do. So make sure you're following the laws in that, but that is what I do. Now a third time around, if they do that, they are banned from booking. And now this is back to back to back. After the second time, I'm like, we're out, we're done. So like to give you like, for instance, I had a client once that she told me that her son was super sick. Brand new client, never seen him before. She told me her son was super sick. She had to go to the emergency room. I don't know if she forgot that I was friends with her on Facebook, but she started posting pictures of Facebook of her kid with a babysitter and her getting ready to go party that night. And so I had chosen, before I knew this, I had chosen to charge her the amount and I told her she could use it as a credit. She said yes, she charged it, cool. She got to come in within 2 months and she held her appointment and used that credit. It was great, but she lied to me and I noticed that. So I honestly didn't allow her to book again because I was like, I'm not going to do that, right? You're a liar. You couldn't tell me the truth. And then I had a client who's actually a membership client and she would come in on Saturdays. She was the only day she was available were on Saturdays. And so I was like, that's fine. But that was always my busiest day naturally. And she would come in, or she wouldn't come in. She would no-show me. She no-showed me twice back to back. First time I let it roll because she had membership credits. Second time I took her membership credit and I told her, hey, you can't book on Saturdays anymore. Like if you want to come in, you're more than welcome to come in, but you're not able to book on Saturdays anymore due to this reason. Like I need to hold this for paying clients and you're not coming in. And so she was just like, okay. Now, obviously that'd be different if you're like a corporate spa, you necessarily probably couldn't do that. But as a solo, I made my own rules. You couldn't come in on a Saturday. Like you were banned from booking Saturdays because you're wasting my time. And she was totally fine with that. Very apologetic, whatever. It happened a third time. And I took her membership credit and then I told her maybe a membership isn't your best bet. And she said, I agree. And we canceled her membership and she started coming in about every 3 months. And I share that because I want you guys to know there's just different ways that you can do things, right? And so I always tell this is my basis of when I was building a policy, when I was building values, I always offered grace because I try to remember every single time that I've made a mistake, shown up late to an appointment, something happened. I wanted grace too. I wanted love too. I wanted to know that like I wasn't a total screw up and I didn't want to be hurt or made fun of or called a name or be talked about. I just wanted love And so I always encourage anybody I'm talking to that if you're able to give grace to your client, but still hold your boundary and adhere to your policy, you absolutely should. And so when it comes to cancellations, policies, and no-shows, this is what I lay out. I always say if they're a routine client, grace is shown a little bit more versus if they're a client who is brand new that you do not know. There's no relationship there, okay? If they're a brand new client who no-show you, I would 100% offer a credit still. I would definitely say something like, hey, I'm going to charge your card, but you're able to use this on your next service within a time frame. So they can't come at you, 18 months later and they're like, hey, so I had this. And you're like, I changed booking systems. I no longer work here. Like they can't do that. Like I had a client one time who bought a package who straight up just like left this planet. I don't even know where she went. I honestly contemplated maybe she had passed away. Like I had no idea what happened to this woman. She spent like $1,800 on me and bought like this huge package, and she ended up not coming in. She no-showed me. And so I used the package because she never answered, nothing. It was no joke, like a year later, and it was over a year later. It was almost 2 years later. And I was literally selling my spa to go travel full time with my family. And she was like, I want to redeem my packages now. And I'm like, well, you have until this day to redeem this package. And I'm selling. And she was just like, oh my gosh. And this is, she bought this package when I was a brand new esthetician. And so I didn't have any like, this expires. Well, I didn't have any backbone when it came to that. So I had to be like, yeah, you can redeem it until this time frame. But could you imagine if like 5 years now, someone's like, oh, I had this credit. So make sure you have like a timeline. Okay. So one, we're going to give grace in some form, but still have a backbone. And then two, if they do it again, you're going to just adhere to your policy. They signed the policy and said, yes, I'm fine with this. And they were cool with the idea that if they canceled, that they knew that they'd be canceling. And so then your third time around, you have to just let them go. I feel like we sometimes forget that just because a client doesn't necessarily want to show us respect doesn't mean that we have to show them disrespect. You can still respect them and love them, but love them where they are, in the sense of if they are not in a place where they're able to give you the respect that you need, you can respectfully tell them to go. And because I want you to remember this, I think my mom told me this once, and she said, a bad review is going to attract 100 people badly. It's going to bring a lot of attention. But a good review is only going to attract like 2 people in a good way. It takes like 10 good reviews to get rid of a bad review. And I think about that every single time I buy something, I look at those bad reviews. Why did they happen? What was it? I can tell you right now, if I read into a business that had bad reviews and it was due to customer service, I'm not purchasing from that company. I'm not going to purchase from them. I'm not going to get their services. I'm not going to do any of it because I know you're not going to take care of me. So I always encourage solos to make sure that you are showing grace and love and encouragement to people and to your clients and to your potential clients. Always show up with the utmost respect that you possibly can. So the long story short here, show grace with a backbone, show grace again with a backbone, and then third time around, show respect with a backbone. Because we're not running a business that can just be trampled over. It's just not going to happen. And if someone says like, okay, I'm definitely going to pay you, but I have to pay you on Friday, you're not going to accept that appointment. And two, if they have to pay you on Friday for something that they miss, so say they can't pay their cancellation policy fee, they're going to pay you on Friday. I would not expect that money. But two, I would definitely probably not book that client again. Or if you're going to book them, you book them like knowing that they're going to pay you in advance. And if you're dealing with clients that are constantly no-showing, constantly canceling, constantly going through that, you have to realize that yes, they are doing that to you. You are allowing them to do that to you. So try to remember that, because respect is taught. Respect is not just given. It's absolutely 100% taught. Literally taught. I mean, think about people that are people pleasers. Think about people that will just allow anybody to run over them and not think anything about it. They are allowing people to run over them. They're allowing people to hurt them. They're not standing up for themselves. They're not having a backbone. They're not doing the hard stuff. And that's sometimes where cancellation policies and no-show policies and all that stuff can get really like shady, because people want to love and give grace, but they forget the backbone part of it. You have to have the backbone part. You have to have the part that tells people, oh, I'm a business owner. You can't treat me like this. This is my business. I mean, think about it. Would you be okay with like, would you expect, I always thought about this, like massage envy. Would you, or massage envy, hand in stone, trying to think of any other chain right now, but a chain massage place, right? Or facial place. And would you go there and be like, I'm not paying my cancellation fee, but you're going to give me services? No, you would never do that, because they do not care. They would be like, you got to pay your fee. You lost this membership because you didn't show up. This is the policy. I'm so sorry. They might be like, yeah, I'll return this because you made a mistake or you didn't do this or something. But if you no-show them, they're going to get paid. So you need to remember that if somebody no-shows you, you still need to get paid. And if they suck, which it happens, it really, really happens, I would encourage you not to post it like on Facebook groups or anything like that, unless you want to post an esthetician in business, the Facebook group. We are there for love and support and grace, to teach you actually how to do it, how to take care of it. But I wouldn't encourage you to like post it in places, because you never know where that client is that maybe is hearing what you're saying or seeing that. And then, I mean, you think about it, how many clients have you gotten from other clients? So remember to always show grace and respect with a backbone, always. Okay. So I hope this was super helpful when it comes down to no-shows and cancellations, because at the end of the day, it's about running a business that's effective, that is also around your values. And I know I didn't lay out like do this, but I want you to know that there is a way to do things, and just use that foundation of grace with a backbone, and then respect with a backbone. And you can have all of it. And you're going to have some of those crap clients. That's just how it is. Sometimes you're just going to have to deal with that. And it's going to be sad, and it's going to piss you off, and it's going to suck. But it is definitely a thing that is okay. It happens. Okay. So anyways, if this brought you value, please take a screenshot of this, post this on your Instagram, tag me in it. I would absolutely love to see other people watching this. I was thinking about doing, when I see tags, doing and like people screenshotting and sharing this podcast, is to get it out there, of doing a drawing for a free coaching call. So please screenshot and tag me, estheticians in business. Tag me. That's the key. I got to know. I got to see it. And then, of course, if you are somebody who wants that weekly, like, questions answered, you can go onto my Facebook page, Estheticians in Business, the Facebook page. I try to keep it simple. And then you can always follow me on Estheticians in Business on Instagram. And that's where you would tag me for that picture as well. So anyways, until then, guys, I will see you next week for your next podcast. Bye.